Like I said, don't ask me questions regarding tests or roll numbers or your names or so anything related to only my course, specifically what I'm teaching. Okay. Anything organizational, you can just ask to Blackbucks. I'll proceed because it seems like it's more like you guys have only organizational questions as of now. So I'll proceed. I'll start the course. And do remember, this is how we'll go. After every significant portion, I'll stop. Probably like after every half an hour, I'll stop and I'll take some questions only in chat. Don't post your questions before that. Maybe note it down. The reason for that is I might miss out those questions because there are so many questions before like I give you a heads up. So I have to scroll down a lot. So it takes a lot of time. So I want any questions to be like there in my view. Okay. Okay, then we will proceed. Um, so my screen is visible to everyone. Just confirm me that. Okay. So screen is visible to everyone. Cool. Um, okay. So last time what we did was we basically last time what we covered was we went through an introduction of artificial AI and ML, some branches. What is basically supervised learning? What is unsupervised learning? What are data? What are different types of data? The thing is, there are two ways to do it. One, either you already know Python and then you proceed, okay, or you don't know Python. My assumption is most of you guys don't know Python. That's why we can't proceed before learning Python, right? Because as soon as we start anything that we need to apply, which we learned about on day one, it is not possible without learning the programming language. Okay, so it is very essential that we learn Python first, and that's then we will move towards like all the concepts that we talked about. Okay, and we will start implementing those. So, it will go very progressively. There are few things that I want you guys to know to do. So this is a take-home task because it will be very hard for me to help you out in installation of Python. So I would assume that you guys can actually help each other to do this installation of Python locally. There are some things that I'll be showing you on screen. There are some things that you have to do locally. Okay. Um, okay. So we all know programming languages, okay? For example, like how humans speak any language, um, mostly machines understand programming language, but over that, machines actually understand only binaries, 0 and 1, okay? But it's very hard, right, to explain a machine that do 0 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0, and no one will understand that. It's highly impossible. So what we do? We actually we have abstracted a very high level language which then translates to these binaries and explain machines that okay, what is supposed to be done, right? And that's why we need these programming languages. Now there are so many programming languages. Maybe in your classes you might have learned about C, Java, C++, and so on and so forth. Maybe some people might be knowing some other different languages. Some might also be knowing Python. I'm just taking into account that you guys don't know anything as of now. Okay. So machines understand 0 and 1. This is very clear. And we need something human friendly, and hence we need a program, right? Now there are two types in which we translate our programming language, our high level programming language into machine code. Okay. So one is an interpreted way. Second is compiled way. Okay. So what is interpreted way? So interpreted basically translates something line by line. Okay. It goes like sequentially. Line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5, so on and so forth. Right? That's how it translates. Then compiler. So what compiler does is basically it takes all of your code together, work on it in the background, and then basically produces a machine code, which machine understands, right? They both have their pros and cons, but this is what the general idea is, okay? Python basically uses an interpreter. So technically we should say, because Python also has some different flavors of Python, but we are not actually concerned about it. It's not part of this course. So you don't need to be concerned about it. But Python usually uses interpreter, okay? And this is why I used usually, because sometimes it can be compiled, okay? And it goes line by line by line by line and converts it to machine code. Okay. So what does Python interpreter do? Python code, we write some Python code, X, Y, Z, Z, whatever, okay? Then it goes to this interpreter. This interpreter goes on line one. It tries to understand, okay, what happened in line one, then converts it to bytecode. Bytecode is basically your 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, whatever. Okay, these binary zeros and ones. Then runs on CPython VM. CPython is basically a virtual machine that has been coded in C, okay, which CPython is a VM that has been coded in C, which translates Python code into bytecode, and then you can see that code running into your PC. Okay. Don't worry, I'll be sharing these slides. So don't please today don't ask me questions like, okay, please share the slide. Okay. So now installing Python on every system might differ. So it might be there. So I have Mac. For me, it's very simple. Like I just need to do brew, install it, Python 3, I get Python version 3. Okay. But for Windows and some other, for Ubuntu, it might be different, right? You just can go onto this website, python.org, and from there you can actually get the source, basically from where you need to install. Okay. So what we will need eventually in the course, like throughout the course, what things will be needing? One, definitely your terminal. What is terminal? If you're on Windows, your DOS or whatever you do, primarily PowerShell. Okay. If you're on Mac, then obviously your terminal. Same goes for Linux, your terminal. Okay. Then you need some sort of code editor. Initially, we'll be starting with some online code editor, and then we'll be moving to a local code editor. Okay. You might need some IDE when you're working with some larger project, and you might need Jupyter Notebook. Okay. Now, don't ask me what are these. As the course progresses, I'll explain all of these because we'll be using all of these sequentially. Okay. But these are the things roughly that we'll be needing. Okay. So what we'll do for quick start, I want you guys to either go on this website, repelit.com or glot.io. Okay. Either of these websites are fine for the small programs that we'll be writing today in this class. Okay. If you find it harder to follow, what you can do is you can note down the code in your notebook, okay, and concepts on your notebook. And then later on, when the class is over, you can try it yourself on these websites. Okay. I'll basically wait for 20 seconds and hopefully everyone notes it, can note it down. I won't repeat it because I have to move forward. Okay. If anyone is going on this website right now, for that, I'm waiting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I hope everyone has noted it down. Okay. Okay. So there are two different Pythons. If you observe, especially anyone who is on Mac or Linux, they'll observe it um, very seamlessly that there are two different Pythons. Okay. A very detailed reason you can refer this resource why two different Pythons are needed. But basically there is Python version 2, which goes up until like Python version 2.7. And there is Python version 3. Okay. Industry has moved to Python version 3, but this still exists. Okay, the Python 2 still exists. The reason is Python 3 didn't have backward compatibility. Okay, what does backward compatibility means is Python 3, there were so many breaking changes that ideally large projects which are written in Python 2 won't work on Python 3. Okay. Now there are countless reasons and improvements made in this version. However, right now, overall, 96% of the ecosystem has moved to Python 3, hence why we'll also refer to Python 3 and we'll work on it. When I share this slide, you can go onto this URL and you will understand more detailed reasons. Okay. Okay. So this I already told you. This is your exercise. Help each other to install Python 3 locally. You have to install Python version 3 locally. Okay. You have to install Python version 3 locally. Okay. So there are some basic terminologies as a newbie we need to learn. Okay. It's very essential that we learn some, and there are so many things that we'll start learning step by step, because I want you guys to at least be able to explain someone how to write a program, or a program that you have written. You should be able to explain it to others. So whatever I'm teaching here, it should like when I go onto a complex topic, you should not be confused with the terminology that I'm using. Okay. So what we'll do, we have to learn basic terminologies to communicate with each others. We definitely need to learn about data types, different types of data types. What sort of data can a program hold, numbers, letters, symbol, and so on and so forth? How are they declared, etc. Okay. And then actions. Basically store data, retrieve data, and perform actions on it. So once you have some data, you also have to perform certain actions on it. Okay. So that sort of data. And then finally, we also have to learn best practices. Okay. You have to learn best practices. So this is all you need to actually know. These are the four pillars. This is all you need to know to become a good programmer. So you will be really good enough to actually at least call yourself a good Python programmer. Okay. So there are more resources that will make you understand certain things. Okay. Which might be essential to you throughout the course. So floating point numbers are a bit different and so on and so forth. And math functions are a bit different. So you can actually look onto them. Now let me start actually programming certain things, and you will know what I'm talking about. Okay. Now, meanwhile, um, any questions if you guys have, I can answer to those questions. In the meantime, I will start sharing my screen for the programs that I am supposed to show you. Okay. Um, Give me 1 minute. So my screen is visible to everyone. I hope it's visible to everyone, right? Okay, so since it's visible, let's dive into our Python concepts, right? So first thing first, let me just remove. So if you go into repelit.com, you basically it just gives you this seamless way to actually run your Python program. I can show you from the beginning actually, but like I think it will be waste of time because it's very easy to just log in and create a Python console. So there are two resources there. You can just use it. Anyways, at later point of time, we'll be using our local machine actually to run Python program. Okay. So if you are able to install your Python successfully, you should be able to run it locally. Okay. So first thing first, whatever we are printing, okay, if you know C, C++ or whatever, okay, then you might know that a program needs to firstly show something, okay, and it also needs to read something. So to show something, all you have to do is write print, and it basically gives you nice little IntelliSense, okay, and I can print something like this, hello world, okay, and what it does, it shows the world, okay, that's it. Cool. What if you want to, okay, let's just say printing is easy, right? Let's just say I want to take some input, right? And then I want to know what's your name. Uh, can everyone answer me? Is the screen size okay? I mean, are you able to view all the text? Let me increase the size. Now, are you able to see it? Okay, let me increase a bit more so that you guys are able to see it. Okay. So I'm sorry. So I just showed two things. One is printing. Printing can be done with print keyword. Okay. Uh, and it shows hello world once you write anything inside this. Okay. And then there is second keyword which we are using, which is input. Okay. And input is basically, okay, you just need to, let's just say I ask for some input. And okay, before asking for input, let's just not store it somewhere. Before let's just run this. Let's see what happens. Okay. So it asked for my name. Cool, right? And I can type my name there. Yeah. But basically nothing happened, right? It stopped. Nothing happened. So we need to somehow show this. How can we show this, right? So one way is can we do a print like this? Let's just say, okay, let's do a print like this. And we are doing this. And yes, whatever we typed in here, we are able to see it. But this is not good. Why? Because sometimes in any programming language, you want to reuse what you are giving is it as an input. You might want to reuse this name. For example, okay, let's just say now this is basically a variable. This is how you define a variable. This is how you tell Python that, hey, please store this data which is on your right hand side, okay, to this name which is on your left hand side. Okay, this is what we are doing. And then what we do, we can just type name here, and when we call it again, there, boom, it works. It works the same, right? There are some more amazing thing that you can do. For example, like you can see it here, right? For example, something like this. So what we are doing, we are saying like, okay, hello. Then we gave a space here. And then we are basically saying, type the name because, okay, this is not readable, right? Also, you see that when we are taking this input, there's no space. So you can usually format as per how you wish to format it. So I just gave it a space here. I gave a space here. Now it should be formatted properly, right? Hello. And then maybe I want to reuse it again. Let's just say name plus is a nice name, right? Now you see, we are using the same variable onto two places, and that's why we need variables. And now also, if you see, we have this nice little spacing, and then I have reused the same input at two places, right? So this is all about like how you print, how you take input. Now don't worry about plus. Plus is more sort of like you're joining these two strings. You're just saying, okay, add these two strings. We'll read more about strings further. Okay. Now let's just understand, and this is important. So if anyone is not able to um, remember it, do type it down. Okay. So there are different types of data types. Okay, do remember this. For example, int, float, bool, okay, string, list, a tuple or tuple, okay, set, dict, okay, and there are some more like there are complex ones. For example, there is complex, okay, as the name suggests, it's complex, okay. And there is something called as none. None basically means nothing. Now we'll go through all of these data types definitely, okay, step by step. This is all the data structures that you need to know, and we'll be progressively working towards this. But this is the core thing that you need to remember, and most of the other things you can Google, okay. So, but this is something that you should remember, that okay, how many types of data type are there, and when to use what data type. Okay. So I won't cover this complex type because this is not so much used. You can actually read through it. It's basically very easy. Okay. Um, but other than that, we'll cover most of these data types. Okay. So I hope most of you have noted it down that these different types of data types will be needing. Okay. Anyways, we'll go through it. So it's okay. So let's just understand numbers and how we work with numbers in Python. Okay. So we discussed this int data type, right? Integers. So let's just say we want to print 2 plus 4. Okay. And we get 6. Cool. Straightforward, right? We just do some addition, print 6. What if I want to check type of it? Okay. And this is the native keyword. And by the way, you don't really need to remember all the keywords. Some keywords you just remember it while you start coding more and more. Most of them you can usually Google it, okay? Because it's really hard to remember everything. If you go and look into Python's standard library, there are so many inbuilt methods. It's just hard to remember everything, okay? So let's just say we do 2 plus 4 type. And it says it is of class integer type, int. Okay. By the way, if you run this in Python 2, which I will not show, you can explore it yourself if you are curious enough. It will rather type here type int. Okay. In here, it usually referred to class because it encapsulates. Now, encapsulates means like basically it embeds or like uh, defines everything inside a class. Okay. So for example, this is integer, right? Now let's just try to do 2 by 4. Let's see what this prints. I'll just remove it for cleaning purposes. Okay. And it prints 0.5. Cool. Let's see what is the type of this 2 by 4. And type is float, right? So we have already covered two types at least, integer and float. Anything with decimal is a float, okay? Anything non-decimal is an integer. Clear? This is very simple. We don't have like in C, C++, if some of you might have read, you have double and so on and so forth, okay? It becomes a bit confusing. Python tries to be as simple as possible. Hence, it has only two types, which is integer or float for numbers. Clear? Okay. Why we need to make distinction for these types of like for all of these types? So if I'll take answers on chat. The display is not clearly visible. Is it not clearly visible still? Hello, guys. It's visible. Let me increase the size a bit more for anyone who not visible. Just increase it. Just increased it a bit more. I think so. It should be very clear now. Okay. Okay. So just give me this answer on the chat. Why we need to make these distinctions of types? Why do you think we need to have these types? Think for like 10 seconds. I'll count 10 and you can answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Correct answer. Memory allocation. Okay. We need to actually understand how much memory we need to give to a certain sort of data type. Because if we, let's just say, if we start giving everyone an enormous amount of memory, then we'll run out of memory. Even though memory is cheap now, it's not free. We pay something for it, right? That is why we need to have clear distinctions between the type so that we can allocate as much memory as it is needed to allocate to that particular data. Okay. In the end, machine just stores 0 and 1, but we need to understand, okay, how and what it stores. Okay. So usually it's hard to store actually these decimal numbers. So in computer, if we just say like, okay, machine, please store 10, 20, machine does not understand it. It's very hard for it. Okay. So what they understand is like, okay, I understand 0, 0, 1, something like that. So that's what it understands. Okay. So that is what is important. All right. Now, um, so there are so many operations that we can perform with numbers. For example, let me show you. Print. Let's just say, if you want to say 2 power of 2, okay, this should give us like 4, right? It's giving us 4. Or assume we want to say print 2 divided by 4. This is a special symbol. What it does, it basically rounds off the answer. So basically, in here we were getting 0.5, and when it rounds off, we get 0. Okay. To give you one more example, we'll just say print 5 divided by 4. And you see like, okay, we get 1. So no decimal. Okay. Now, let's just say we want to get remainder, which is like 5 modular 4. So what it does, it gives you remainder. Okay. So it will give you like, okay, what is the remainder? 5 divided by 4, remainder is 1. So this is what it will give. Let's just see. And yes, it gives us 1. Simple, right? It's not difficult. It's very easy. To understand data structures is very easy, but it's important. That's why I'm going through it. Okay. Okay. Uh, so we have different types of match functions as well, right? We have different types of match function. And let's just explore some of these. For example, uh, let's just say, so we saw this shorthand, right? This is how we do shorthand roundup. Now this is an inbuilt keyword by Python. Okay. Let's just say we want to round up this, and we want to say, okay, let's just round up by 2. Oh, nothing happened. Okay, round up by 1. Oh, something happened. Okay, round up by 0. And something more happened. So you see, like you have to go in a decremental way. Like you say, okay, keep up until 2 decimal places, keep up until 1, or keep no decimal places, so then 0. Or you can even say, like, you can even overdo it. I think so, right? But like, because it only had 2 decimal places, you'll only get this out, the same out. So it doesn't matter. Don't overwork yourself. Okay. Okay. What is, let me just keep it here so that anyone who wants to note it down can note it down. Okay. Print apps. So apps is basically, it gives you absolute number. Now, I won't explain anyone what is absolute number. You can ask your friends, but you will understand here. Basically, it will just return 20 with no signs, right? This returns absolute numbers. Okay. Do remember hash is how we define comments, and anything that we are writing within hash is, this is a comment. Okay. This is not processed by interpret. Okay. So do remember this. Cool. Now let's just say we talked a lot about binaries 0, 1, 0, 1, but we are noobs, right? And we don't know, and that's why what we'll do, we'll try to print a binary. So let's just say this. Oh, we got a binary. So anyone who, I think so most of you have done your third semester, right? So you might be knowing this 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, and so on and so forth. So 101 is basically binary representation of 5, where 0b, okay, do remember, where 0b is just default annotation by Python to denote that, hey, this is a binary number, okay? This is not a normal number, this is a binary number. That's how Python actually differentiates between a binary number and a decimal number, okay? What if I want to reconvert this? What do I do? I mean, let's just say I have binary number. So usually, in some cases, you might need it. So this is what you do. Okay, we can type this. Base is 2. Why it is 2? Because it's a binary. If it would have been a hexadecimal, then it would be 6. Okay, and decimal is 10, obviously. Okay, basic maths. When you run this, oh, this is binary representation of 5, and this is 5. Okay, binary representation of 5, and this is 5. Make sense? Okay. Uh, let's talk a bit about operator. Okay. Now, in your mathematics class, right? In your mathematics class, you might have read about this rule, PODMAS. Okay. Okay. What is this rule? Basically, it says when you do a mathematical calculation, you need to first resolve brackets, then you need to resolve off, or in here power of. Okay. Then you need to resolve decimal, okay, or decimal and multiplication. So multiplication and decimal, okay. Then you need to resolve addition and subtraction, right? And that is how any of your operations will be resolved. For example, quickly tell me the answer of, okay, -4, let's just say plus, and then do this, and then do this. Okay. Quickly tell me what will be the answer of this. It's not that difficult. Oh, my people are intelligent. They are giving like very quick answers. Cool. So it's 20. And it applies the same rule, okay? You resolve brackets first, what it gives you 16, right? Okay, and you then resolve this part, which is your off, which gives you 4. 16 plus 4 is 20, right? So that's how you basically it works in Python. Simple maths again. Okay. So we talked about variables, okay, but just to add more context, okay, you need variables. You need variables because, sorry, so that you can manipulate data, okay? And variables help you do that. Because, I mean, let's just say you're storing data, right? You're already storing data. But what's the use of just storing that data if you can't even manipulate it or reuse it? Okay, so there are two use cases. One is definitely you store that data and then reuse it. But second is you can reuse or modify that same data that you store. Okay, that is what variables help us to do. Because let's just say if I write 190 like this and store it just like 190, and if I am doing something like if your IQ is equal to 190, it's just easier to do some calculations on IQ. Based on your age, your IQ can decrease and it can also go to 0 if you don't pay attention to this class. Okay, so we can manipulate it, right? So that's why we need to use variables. Now there are certain best practices. Okay, there are certain best practices that we follow for variables. Okay, so one is you usually you write descriptive names. What does it mean to write descriptive name? For example, okay, if let's just say there are so many people in your class. Now, I want to count number of students in your class and I want to store number of students in your class. So let's just say we do student number equals 50. Let's just rough number. Okay. This is one way to store this data. Or we can just say S is equal to 50. Now if you read both of them and assume someone else comes and start coding on the same project that you were coding, okay, he comes up and sees, okay, I see S and I see student number. Okay. So probably if this is there, he will understand student number means, okay, it's like some sort of student number count. Okay. But if he sees S, basically he will not understand anything what this S means, right? That is why your variable name needs to be descriptive. Okay. Your variable name needs to be descriptive. And sorry, this is a mistake. Okay, this is a mistake because this is still not following best practice. So what is the best practice? Best practice is ideally in Python, okay, we name variables in snake case. Okay, what is a snake case? Snake case. Okay, basically, you use underscore, okay, something like this, student number, to separate each word, to separate each meaningful word. That is a snake case. And this is how you usually name your variables. Not this way, not this way, not something like that. Okay, this is a standard way. This is how you name. This is how you name your variables. For example, if you are writing some constant, now what are constants? Constants are those numbers, okay? Constants are those numbers which don't change. So basically, they are always same. For example, value of pi. We all know value of pi is roughly 3.14. This is same. This will never change, okay? Tomorrow, some dude who is teaching AIML can't come to you and say, oh, pi is not 3.14, it is 10. It can't happen. Okay. It's always 3.14. So this is a constant, and constant are named like this. Basically, every letter is capital, right? Okay. Now there are few standard naming. Okay, there are few standard namings that you never touch or modify when you are writing a variable name. Okay, so it's called something like dunders, and I don't understand what what is the meaning of dunders. So you can Google it. Okay, I never Googled it because I didn't feel the need of it. But basically, in Python, dunders means this. Okay, double underscore. So anything which is coming with double underscore is basically dunders. Ideally, you never name your variable with dunders. Okay, never, unless like you are doing some inbuilt Python library coding or something like that. You will never do this. Okay. Secondly, you can name your variable something like this, underscore user. This is perfect, and this you can use it. It just starts with underscore. Okay. In programming, sometimes we use underscore to define some special cases, which I'll talk about later. Like, okay, why? To basically special cases in a sense to differentiate between normal variable and this kind of variable. So we use that. Okay. So there are much more different conventions. We will see as we go forward and start coding it going forward, right? I hope at least this is clear. Also, do remember, you can't name your variable int, something like this. Int is equal to 3. No, this is not correct because you can't use any reserved keyword which is there in Python. For example, you can see, right? This is reserved by Python. This is already part of Python. So you can't use these keywords which are already part of Python. Okay. So, okay, there's one more thing. Just to understand, very quick thing, which is left-hand side, this is called variable, right? This is variable, this is constant. Variable, constant. This is value. Do remember these terms, okay? These terms, I'll use it over and over, and I hope you guys don't get confused later on, okay? This is variable, this is constant, and this is value. And let's just say, if I say, let's calculate average score of your class, okay? So total score of your class is, let's just say, score, total score, okay, is 1,000. Then we divide it by, let's just say, student number, something like this, okay? So this is variable, but this is an expression, okay, where we are performing some sort of operation which does not have a definite value like this. This is an expression. Now I'll keep on reusing these terms over and over, and you have to get used to it. Okay. So I hope this is clear up until now. And make note of all these best practices that we are saying. Okay, one more thing that you can take note of, because I've seen people making this mistake. When I say write descriptive name, it does not mean that you start writing like student number of CSE branch, college name. No, okay. Descriptive name means as descriptive as it is understandable. Okay. It does not mean that you have to write an essay. You still have to be concise, but it has to be descriptive enough so that if anyone reads, he or she is able to understand. Okay. Cool. I am moving forward. Now, how you can assign a value to a variable? We have been seeing this already. Let's just say some value 5, right? Then we have seen this some value. We can also do some operation. We have also seen this. We can do print, and then we can say some value. We can print it. Obviously, it will print 7. All well and done. We have seen this. Okay. Now, this is one way of adding something, right? Let's okay. I don't know what happened. Okay. Let's do one thing. Let's reassign this 5 because we updated it here. Okay. This was updated, original, and then we are reassigning. Because right now, value, basically some value is 7 here. Okay, this is 7 here. Hence, we need to reassign so that it becomes 5. Now, there is something called as augmented assignment. You might have already seen it. You just don't know what it's called. Okay. So let's just say some value, and now you want to add 2 again. So how do you do it? Let's just add, let's add 5 more because 2 is less. Okay. So you define a plus operator here just before your equals operator. Okay. And say 5. What this says, assign some value, the value of summation of some value plus 5. Assign some value, the value of summation of some value plus 5. Okay. Let's print this again. Okay. And let's just see if it works. Cool, it works. 10. How nice. We don't need to write all these crap, right? We can just use these shorthands. So Python is super good and super nice when, especially when you're working with shorthands. Really nice. Okay. Let's just say again, some value plus equals, sorry, minus equals 2, right? Cool. So you print it again, some value. Let's just see what it gives. 8. And So simple. So someone said 3. Wait, it will not be 3 because it is updating the original value. Okay. So it will never be 3, it will be 8. Do remember, we are basically updating this original value. Understand it from here. Okay. Because I don't want anyone to be confused. This was the original value. We updated the original value and it became 7. 5 plus 2 is 7, right? And that's why we got 7. Then we reassigned it, which is like 5. Okay. Then we are saying add plus 5 to some value. Okay. So this is the same thing that we are doing here, but this is shorthand. So we are again saying add plus 5 to some value. So it becomes 10. So now some value is 10. And now we are subtracting minus 2. Hence it becomes 8. Okay. You can basically use it and try it with other operators as well. Something like some value divided by, let's just say 2. And let's try to print it again. And you can try for rest of the operators. Okay. So you can try for rest of the operators. I think augmented variables, augmented assignment is clear. Very simple. And you don't really, so basically variables needs, do remember that variable has to be initialized first. Okay. Let's just say if you are, if you remove this, let's just say, okay, let's try to do this. If you remove this and assume you remove this and assume you remove this, now you are not initializing some value. And you can see, okay, and you can see some value is throwing error, right? Why is some value throwing an error? Some value is obviously throwing an error because it's not initializing. It has to be initialized. Okay. And do remember why this is getting, we are getting 4.0, because I already told in previous slide on division, it gives us float. Okay. On division, it gives us float. Okay. Let's move on to strings. So we have been working with strings already. I am an awesome string. We have been working with this. That's why it's awesome. Right? We just didn't know it's called a string. Or some people might be knowing. Some people might not be knowing. Okay. How do you initialize a string? If I want to assign it to something, let's just say, name me, please. Okay. So that's a very odd variable, but yeah. Let's just say we name it Raj. Okay. By the way, okay, let's try this. Does this work? Okay. And because it's single quote right now. Okay. Up until now, I have been using double quote. Let's just say if it works or not. It works. Yeah. Because in Python, it doesn't matter you are using double quotes or single quote. It will just assume it's a string. Okay. Now, write a multi-line essay for Raju. Okay. So how do we write multi-line essay for Raju? This is because up until now what we know is we can just type like this. Now we need to actually change lines. So how we will do this is, okay, multi-line essay. And then if we want to write something multi-line, what we do, we just give it 3 quotes. Okay. And then what we do, I am Raju. I am a gentleman. Okay. I am noob in Python, but I am learning. Okay. So let's just try it. Oh, we didn't print it. We also need to print it, right? Okay. Print multi-line essay. Cool. How awesome is that? Right. Now we are able to print multi-line essays without much effort. Just use these three quotations and you can basically do it. Simple, right? Okay. Um, we read about, so okay, I'll tell you formatting a bit later. So okay, we read about something. I'll just remove this multi-line essay. So okay, uh, let's just say we already did this. I think I showed you, but let me show you this again. So let's just say we want something like this. First name is Ram, okay, and last name is, let's just say, Avatar, okay. This used to be the names in old movies, like a very common name in old movies. I used to watch a lot of old movies. That's why this name, okay, okay. Um, and do remember, doing this, you are not assigning comment to any variable. Okay, comment is just comment. It is not even processed by the program. It's just for your readability and information. Just for instance, if I want to write some information, hey, okay, explaining how to concatenate. So this basically gives some context what we are trying to do. Okay, so that's what comments are for. Now assume you have two variables. All you have to do is, okay, print. Then you were concatenating something like this. First name plus last name. Okay. And then we get, we don't have space, so we can also add space in between. You see, we can also join two variables. Very simple. Okay. Now assume you have something like, let's just say 100. And then we want to type how many students are we want to count 100 students, but you can see it's throwing an error. Okay, it says print 100, type error, unsupported operand s plus int and str. Okay, we basically read about, right now we have covered three different types: int, float, and a string, right? This is string type, str type. This is int type, int type, right? It's not possible to add int type and a string type. Okay, hence we won't be able to show any value because it will throw an error. So what is the solution? The solution is, in programming terms, we call it something called as typecasting. Okay, typecasting. So how do we do? How do we typecast? We typecast. Okay, all we have to do, we learned about this str, right? We'll wrap str around it. Okay, we'll wrap str around it, and then let's just see. Voila, it works. Magic. Okay, so so that's how it works. You can just typecast. Okay, similarly, let's just say, if I want to print, let me give you one more example. Oh, okay, if I want to print 100 uh, plus plus 25. Okay, let's make it a bit more complicated. Okay, uh, so let's just say sum of the given values is, okay, again throwing an error. I want you guys to tell me what is the possible solution in you, so that I get sum of 125, because this will give an error. I know the sum, it's firstly, it's not 250. I want you guys to tell me how you can actually solve this error. I already know it's an error. I showed you. Int 100 plus 25 is wrong. Wrong. Nope. Simple. Okay. Let's just try this. Okay. Let's just try this. Boom. Works. And then sum of the given values is 125. Right? So this is how you can format things a lot. You can play around with this a lot. Okay. Now, at times, what you want to do, the string is a lot. Okay, you need to basically do a lot in strings. So let's just understand. Okay, quote mix. For example, I want to write proper English. Okay, even though I'm new at it, let's try. Hello, it's okay. Wait. Hello, hello. It's a sunny day. Now it won't work, right? Why it's not working? Obviously, it's not working because of the quotes, right? Not working. Okay. If I change this to double quote, will this work? Yes, it will work. Ah, it's not working or what? Oh, I'm not even printing it. Sorry. Yeah. Yes, it's working. But what if I want to emphasize? Sometimes you say, right? It's a sunny day, something like that, you need to emphasize on it. So let's just say I want to emphasize with double quotes. Now what? Boom, error. Now what's the solution? Okay, solution is escape. If we escape characters, okay, if we no, triple quotes are not the solution, because triple quotes still use single quote. Okay, if we escape, this is the escape sign, okay, which is this reverse slash. If we escape, then it should work fine. And see, hello, it's a sunny day with emphasis on sunny. This is how you escape characters, right? Now, um, there are a few more things that you can play around with, basically, with the strings. So let's assume you need to give something tab space, right? You can do hello slash t, or let's just say hello slash t, okay, slash t, hello, and print this there. You see, there's a tab space. And let's just say I also want to have a new line, okay, without using triple quotes, okay, then I can just use slash n. Cool, right? So there are two very simple keywords. Slash t is for adding tab spaces. Slash n is basically for new line. Nothing scientific in it, right? Now, let's just say my name is Raju. I don't know. I love this Raju guy. So the name is Raju. Okay. Raju is 55. Okay. Uh, because most of you guys are from Andhra, I guess Appa Raju is much more familiar, right? I had a lead back in the days who was named Aparaj. We used to call him just Raju, so I'll just call him Raju. Okay. Age 55. Let's just say print. And we want to print it. How do we print it? Right? This is how we print it. This is what we discussed. Hi, my name is, just print it and say, hi, Raju, you are 55 years old. So sad. Very old. I think so. Gen Z calls it boomer. So you are way beyond boomer now. Okay. So what if I want to format it in a much nicer way? So Python 3, okay, Python 3 gives us amazing method, which is F to format strings. Okay. So how do? We basically annotate a string with F like this, and then you can do something like this. Okay. Hi, name, you are, let's just say, okay, if this works. Oh, syntax, oh, sorry. Yeah, works. So what format does, it creates placeholders, right? It formats the strings, creates placeholders, make it much more readable, okay? Because adding plus name, it's somewhat hectic at times. You don't really want to do that always, okay? That's why Python 3 gives you this amazing formatting keyword, and this is how you can format your strings, okay? This is basically what you need. However, there are other ways as well to format string. And this works in Python 2. Okay. In Python 2 also it works. However, this also works in Python 3, which is, let's just say if you want to print something, uh, you give two empty brackets, right? And then you say format, and then you say hello, and then you say word, right? And I hope it should work. I mean, now it works. And yes, this works, right? But this is, I personally don't like this. You can play around with it a lot. For example, you can even name it. Like, okay, you can just say it like first, and then you can say it second, right? And you can then name this first and second. However, I don't like this because this is too much verbose. Verbose means it uses too much words and play around as compared to something like Python 3, what it's giving, like this F. It's very simple and straightforward, right? So I recommend this. Sometimes in Python 2, you might require this. So just in case if you would be wondering, this is how it is possible in Python 2. This won't work in Python 2. Okay. Okay. Now let's understand indexes in string. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, let's just say we have this string. Okay, and then let's call it noobnum. Okay, let's just call it noobnum. Oh, that makes much more sense. Now, assume I want to get only first index. Okay, if you might be even a little familiar with arrays, I'll anyways talk about it later. Then then we can get it something like this. You are saying, give me index of 0. 0 is like, it starts always from 0. Okay. So first place with the thing which is at 0 index. When you print it, it will print 0, right? Let's just say if you say 5, what it will print? It will print 5, right? Works really fine. Now, there are some other ways actually to get subset of strings, okay? Which is like, this is how you do it. Start, and then you say stop. So start is where like it has to start. So for understanding, let's just start from 0. And then let's just say stop at 3. Okay. Let's just say, see what it gives us. So it gives us 0, 1, 2. So it gives us 0, index 0. It gives us index 1, and it gives us index 2. So basically 3 is like stop before that. 3 does not means inclusive of 3. Okay. 3 means exclusive of 3. Okay. 3 means exclusive of 3. Stop means exclusive of the stop. Right? Now, assume, let's go through more examples because this is interesting, right? Noob num, let's just say we want to get something like 2 between 2 and 5. Okay. So, okay, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 0, 1, 2. So this is where it starts, and 5, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Exclusive of last one. So we need to get 2, 3, 4, right? Okay. Let's see. What if we do something like move num and we want to get, let's just say I say something like 7, and then I'm saying this, and I'm not writing in. Okay. So it included 7 and basically included everything after 7. So 7, 8, 9. Nice, right? Now let's just say move num and same thing. Let's just say 3 and here. And it gives 0, 1, 2. Exclusive of the last one. Okay, excluding the last one, 3. It gives us 0, 1, 2. Simple. Cool. Then we go to print noob num. Okay. And we do this. Right. What is this? This looks amazing. So let's see what is this. Boom. What it is saying is, okay, what it is saying is, it is basically saying skip. It is not trying to get subset. It is saying skip, or it is a step over. So this is the third part, step over. So start, stop, step over. Okay. And what step over means is you start from 0 or whatever. So because we gave it nothing, it just starts from 0. Okay. Then it ends at its ending because we gave it nothing. And then we gave it a step over. Okay. Skip. Now, what this last one does, it is skip by these many numbers. So from 1, you won't understand anything. Okay. Because it gives us 1. Let's just change it to 2 and let's see what it gives. Oh, now something changed. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. So what happened? It took 0, 1, skip this one. Okay. So skip this one. When you give 2, it skips, it takes it from here. Skips the self and it skips one more. Okay. So when we were typing 1, it was only skipping self. Okay. Which is by default. But when we give it 2, it skips self and then it skips one more, which is 2. Then it gives prints 2. Then it skips self and another one, then 4. Skip self, another one, 6. Skip self, another one, okay, 8. And then it skips self. So if it, and there's nothing beyond it, hence why it does not print anything. Okay. Okay. Let's just say do num. Okay. And what if we have something called as -1? Okay. If we are using -1, what do we get? No, we get 9. We don't get 9, 8, 7, 5, blah, 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 blah. We get 9. Okay. Why are we getting 9? Because -1 basically refers to last index of that particular array. Oh, sorry, we haven't talked about array. So you can just say last index of that particular strings. Okay. So that's why -1. Now let's see something interesting. What happens if we are doing this? Okay. Basically, this reverses the string. This is shorthand for reversing a string. Okay. When you step over by -1. So what it is saying, okay, start from here, but then start skipping everything. That is why it also includes 0. It is not, okay. So that is why it also includes 0, because it starts skipping from here, here, and then completes here. Okay. So it basically reverses the whole string. Now the same concept applies here, but in reverse format, you can actually do something like this, and you will see again skipping from 9, self, 7, self, 5, self, 3, self, 1. Simple. Okay. Now up until this point, anyone has any questions? You guys have 1 minute to ask me any questions if you have. No questions, and I am such an awesome teacher. Thank you. Okay. Is there any way to print the comments are not supposed to be printed. Comments are just for your information. Okay. You use comments so that you, if certain part of program is very complex and you want to understand it, that's why. That is why you have print, and that is what you want to print. Anything you want to print goes in print. Okay. What happens if we type colon colon? Okay, let's see what happens then. Basically, nothing happens, but let's just see what happens. Okay. Cool. Let's just see what happens. Nothing happens, right? Because everything is defaulted to default values. This is the default value here is 0. This is like default value is -1 or like last index. Okay. And here the default value is 1. Okay. So it basically defaults to default value, and hence why nothing happens. Okay. Monica, your questions are amazing. Okay. Minus equals is subtraction. Plus equals is addition. It's the same thing as like A plus B. It's just that you are also assigning at the same time. Okay. So let's just say, okay, A equals 5. Okay. You're assigning here. A equals A plus 5. You are modifying it. Okay. A plus equals 5. You are again modifying A and adding 5 to A. It is the same thing. This is the same thing as this. Okay. They both are same. Second one is just a shorthand. Okay. I'll explain docstring later. Docstring is not needed at this initial level. Okay. Only ask me questions related to what I taught. Okay. Uh, for now, because there are so many things that we'll cover like much later on. Okay. Difference between plus a and a plus and plus a. Okay, already answered. Okay, how it works. Okay. So let's just say, assume we have this. So let's just say we have this. Okay, and we want to print reverse. It's simple. -1 means here it takes last index. Okay, it starts stepping from last index. So the last part is a step over. I explain. First is this is start, this is a stop, and last part is a step over. Okay, or a skip. Okay, so whatever you want to call. Okay, so when you have -1, it will start going from reverse rather than forward. Okay, guys, a lot of combination you have to try at home. I can't show you each different examples. I'll show you this one, but I can't show you each different examples. Okay, basically you get nothing. Okay. Now you guys can try rest of these combinations yourself at home. I'll move forward with the course, okay? Because there are so many combinations, I can keep on trying this whole day and it won't get over. And there are so many things that needs to be covered. We are still halfway through data structures, okay? So, okay, strings in Python. Remember this. Do remember this, okay? Strings in Python. So Python. Strings in Python are immutable. Okay. Strings in Python are immutable. What does immutable means? Immutable means something that cannot be changed. Right. Is my screen visible to everyone? So I think so. It's if to someone it's not visible, it's probably issue in their system because it's visible to everyone else in the class. Okay. So immutable means something that cannot be changed once assigned. Okay. What does that mean? Okay. Let's just say immune str. Okay. I think so. It is. People understand what I mean by. Let's follow best practice. So I don't want to mess up my own rules. Okay. Assume I want to change this. Okay. I want to modify this. Can I do something like, can I do this? No. Right? I can't do it. str object does not support item assignment. This is because strings are immutable. They cannot be changed. Hence, we can't modify the same string, like part of the same string. What we can do is we can reassign it. Okay, we can reassign it. So reassignment works, but directly changing something won't work because strings are immutable. Immutable is something which does not change. Okay, make sense? Okay. Now let's there are so many built-in functions for strings. So let's go through each of them one by one, because a lot of them are also used quite commonly. That's why we need to go through a lot of them. Okay. Let's just say we have a string. Name. Name is Raju. Okay. And then we want to, okay. I showed you this name 0 to 4. Okay. This 4 is basically the last index, right? So okay. 0 to 4, right? Correct me, this is a 2-hour session, right? This is 2-hour session. This is 2-hour session, right? So it will end at 7 p.m. Okay. So yeah, guys, let's focus. Let's focus. I'll quickly answer one more question which was asked. When do we use double hash in representing a comment? We don't use it. It's not part of Python. Okay. Let's move forward now. And I keep emphasizing on this fact, and I'm again emphasizing, okay, that please ask me questions regarding what I'm teaching, because you will be lost if you ask me questions left and right. Okay, I want everyone to follow up in sync. Okay. So we know 0 to 4, we already read about it. It prints as it is, Raju. Okay. Now there is another way to actually get the last index, because it's sometimes hard to actually get the last index. So we use a keyword called as len. Okay. And then we can say name, the variable name. Okay. And then we can run and it works the same. Basically, what it is saying, give me the length of this name, which is 4, which is also the last index, right? That's how it works. So len is one built-in keyword. Okay. Now let's go. Let's move forward. Now let's move forward. Okay, I'm sorry, there was like someone ringing my bell. Okay, now let's move forward. We have, let's just say I want to make, just let's make it lowercase, and I want to print this and make something uppercase. Then what I can do name, and then I can use upper built-in, and then try to print it. Cool, everything becomes uppercase. Nice, right? If I want to make everything lowercase, we do lower, boom. Again, everything becomes lowercase. Super simple. Okay. If I want to find a specific, let's just say part, let's just say print name dot find. Now we have AJ in between. Let's try to find it. Oh, 0, 1. This is where at index of 1. Okay, let's try to find you. Index of 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. It is at index of 3. Nice, right? It's very simple. So these are very commonly used. That's why you should remember it. Okay. Let's just say if you want to replace something, a name dot replace. Now I want to replace R, okay, from Raju to K, okay. And let's see what happens. Oh, Raju, and now we have Kaju. Cool. So works. What it does, okay, because the strings are immutable. Remember what I said? Strings are immutable. In here, let's try to print name again. You'll understand what I'm talking about. Strings are immutable. It is not changing original string. Original string is still Raju. Okay. Original string is still unchanged. What it is changing is the prior string. Okay. It is replacing that. Okay. I think so. This is pretty much clear. These are all the ones. There are so many other ones. I have a slide that I will share, which I was sharing with you guys. Okay. In that slide, there are so many resources that you can actually refer to. And there are a few things that also I'll go through it in the last 10 minutes or last 5 minutes because, yeah. Okay. Name. Now we are basically done with the strings. Okay, string is done. You are basically pros at string. You guys know string. Now anything else that you need, you can Google. Okay, I have taught you the most commonly used ones. So this is me. Am I cool? Okay. And this is the Boolean operator that we discussed about. Boolean. This is again, sorry, Boolean operator. I'm saying, sorry, bool type. This is the type, Boolean type, which is part of Python. It basically says if something is true or something is false, right? So I can just print it. If okay, if else I haven't thought, so I'll tell that later. But anyways, you can define school, or you can say something like is not false, and so on and so forth. So there are two Boolean operators. You can use it. We'll discuss more about these actually later on when we start studying if else. Okay. For now, you just need to know this much only about Boolean operator. There's two types. They are logical values: true, false. Period. Okay. Okay. I already talked about type conversion, right? Which is when you assign something str. You can do the same with, actually, you can do the same. Okay, let's try to make a task, okay? And tell me your answer. Let's say we want to get birth year, okay? And we need to have an input. Now combine everything and we need to say, okay, what year were you born? Okay. And then you can select an age. Okay. And then there is year. Complete rest of the program. But the idea is at the end, you need to print your age. Okay. You need to print your age. Complete this program. I'm giving you guys 1 minute. It's very simple. Pretty much wrote the whole program. Complete this program. Guys, for attendance, I think so Blackbucks can take care of your attendance. I don't know how to take attendance. Blackbucks knows it. Or ask them. Okay. Age int birth year. Yeah, that's the correct answer. Age int birth year. Right. Okay. Yeah, don't tell anyone. I am like I'm very young. I'm only 20. Okay. No one needs to tell anyone. So this is the program. Cool, right? This is all we have learned. We have combined everything and we have just made. This is actually your first logical program. Okay. We can do another one actually. Um, or I should, okay. Should I give you this an home exercise? I'm not sure. Um, so okay, note this. This is take home exercise. Okay, note this down, please. We will I'll solve it tomorrow for you guys. So the idea is you take username and password as input using input keyword. Okay. Okay. Then you need to display user password, user and password, but password should be in a hidden format. Okay. For example, it should be like if let's just say you input password like password, then it should be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. That's how it should be. Take note of it. All you need to use is what we have learned up until now. Nothing else you need to use. It's pretty easy. You can do it. And you already know the tools that you need to do this, right? Okay. I am I can I meeting group chat. Yeah. I'm also typing this in here so that you all can take note of it. Okay. Now you can do this. We have 15 minutes more. I will quickly go through list and then we'll see. Because list has a lot of things actually. Okay. Let me talk about developer fundamentals first, and then I'll come back to actually list. Um, Hello, 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 hello. For how long I was muted? Oh, sorry. Uh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have been talking 2 minutes. I'm really sorry for that. Okay. So anyways, what I said before this, we will start a list from next class. Up until the exercise, everything was clear, right? So we'll start a list from next class. You need to keep in mind these developer fundamentals that I'm telling you for now, and then I'll take questions. Okay. So one, don't read dictionary, learn to Google. Okay. Don't read dictionary, learn to Google. That's one. Because I can teach only few things to you. I can't teach everything. There are so many things that will be needed for you guys to learn. Secondly, you have to use the language. Okay, some things you will use a lot more, some things you won't use that much. So things that you won't use that much, okay, you can use, you can just Google it, search it, and nowadays there is also ChatGPT. Okay, we'll mostly cover most of the important topics in this class. So you can be relaxed about it. However, there are certain things that won't be covered in this class, okay? Because the course is really huge and I have to cover everything, okay? Learn the language as a tool to do the task, okay? You don't really need to memorize everything. For example, if I'm telling a programming and showing you example, you don't really need to memorize everything. Just consider this as a tool. Okay, you have so many tools at your house. Similarly, this is also a tool. Even your language, in whatever language you speak, that's a tool to communicate. Okay, so you need to practice that particular tool because this is the tool you use to communicate to the machine. Okay, do write comments. I have showed you how you write comments, but in good ways. Okay, you need to add valuable comments. Don't overflood your program with comments. Don't underwrite your program with comments. The reason is ideally you have to write your programs the way which people or anyone else programming understands it. You are not writing your program for yourself. The program itself outlives you. Okay, in any large scale project, you will be working on one program and then second and the third, and maybe someone else will start working on the program that you worked 2 years ago. So you need to write it in a way that it's readable, one, but you also need to add comments where like it's very complex or hard to make someone else understand just by making them read the program that you wrote. Okay. Finally, you should be aware when to use what data structures. This is highly important. We'll be learning more and more data structures now, and you will learn more. Okay. There are more things. This I already explained, right? Variables starts with a snap case, it starts with lowercase or underscore, letters, numbers, underscore. This is what you can use in variables. It is case sensitive. Okay. I didn't write that. So you need to remember variables are case sensitive and don't overwrite any keyword. Okay. There are so many resources that you can refer. There are some things that I have not covered yet, especially list, set, and so on and so forth, which we will cover in the next class. Okay. Now that's it for today, guys. For the last 10 minutes, I'll open up it for questions. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Any questions, any problems? I hope you guys liked the format today and you were all able to understand everything clearly. My audio was also clear and I hope screen was also clear. And finally, I also hope that basically you guys were able to understand everything. Okay. Thanks a lot, guys. If you are able to understand, I am. So, okay, dunders is basically, okay, I'll explain you. Give me 1 minute. I need to share my screen so that is easier. Okay. So dunders is basically default keyword. It is ideally used by Python itself. It's an inbuilt library. Okay. Anything you start with double underscore is called as dunders. I don't know the meaning why it's called dunders, but it's called dunders. Okay. And you are supposed to not name your variable name with double underscore, something like this. Never. Okay. So that's what you need to know. Okay. I'll be sharing the slides soon. So you will understand. We'll be giving more examples, Monica. Sadly, the problem is we also need to cover so many topics in short period of time. It might become a bit harder for me because I'm already trying to be very slow, right? We have to cover whole machine learning and everything. My advice to everyone is that you guys self-practice everything, okay? Because it's very important. I'll share the slides, but I request everyone to take notes because I am not writing any notes, okay? I'm giving live classes, so I don't have any notes. Can you explain snake case? Snake case is simple, okay? So I'll tell you, okay? When you have two words, for example, hello, and then you have world. If you want to write snake case, you separate it via underscore. Hello, world. Right, that's it. Right, you need to format it and show it as a star, star, star. So basically, you need to hide the password, but the input should be readable, okay, for the assignment. So guys, again, I am trying to give my best to give you examples, but it might be hard to give examples for everything in a lot more detail. Okay. Yeah, it will be covered in detail. Don't worry. List is very long topic. I think so. That is why I didn't do it today because I want you guys to get familiar with lists in a lot more detail. It will start after Python. Python is the basics. So your ML and everything, data science, it will start after Python. Unless and until you get good hold of Python, you can't do anything in DS and ML class because we will keep on doing coding in Python. Okay. In next class, I'll try to cover loops, conditionals. Basically, I'll try to finish up with Python, but I'm not sure. It might be possible that some chunk of it might be left, but I'll try to cover it. The problem is I have to give examples as well. So if I have to give examples, then the class will go a bit slow. I think so next class is probably Thursday or Friday. I'm not sure. Okay. Hiding is not related to encryption, Sayed. It's very simple. You only have to use the things that I gave you. You don't need to use anything extra. Don't think really out of the box. Just need to use the things that I have explained. Okay. So guys, we will be progressively building on things, right? We learned about introduction of ML and DS. We are learning Python, and then we'll proceed. Prasanna, you need to download Python 3 from Python's official website, and then you have to install it. Sadly, I won't be able to show you this. The reason is everyone's system is different. I can show it on my Mac, but it might not be feasible for you. Okay. Henceforth, I recommend every one of you to download Python and install it yourself. Okay. Because it will be very time consuming or might take one whole class just for me to make you install it. Sayed, just use what I have taught you today. And I'll show you if you are not able to do it by next class, I'll show you how to implement that password task. But you only need to use things what I have taught you today. Okay. Soumya, you have to ask the Blackbucks for that. Okay. Try your hard. The whole point is if you try it, okay, it will be good enough. You can use online compiler for the time being, but I highly recommend you guys to install Python because later on when we move to DS and ML, you will need it locally. Okay. I'll only show you how to install Jupyter, but I won't show you how to install Python. Okay, next class, you can ask Blackbucks. I already answered. So I hope if you guys have any more questions related to my class, ask me that please. Okay. Otherwise, I will drop. Soumya, I already answered. I don't know why it's not regular. Okay. Yes, you will have to install Python in your PC, right? And make it work. It's very simple. It's not rocket science. You can easily get so many resources for installing Python. At least as software engineers, the least you guys can do is install Python. Okay. It will be necessary to install both Python and Jupyter, and it will also be necessary eventually to install Conda, Anaconda, which I'll also show you how to do it. But that comes much later. First, we need to learn Python. Guys, really important. For now, don't talk about Jupyter, only Python. Really important thing, whatever I have taught in Python, please focus on Python, because Python is very important. If you don't understand Python, you will find it very hard to understand DS and Algo. For the time being, you can skip some parts of maths. If time permits, I'll try to go through some statistics. Okay. If it doesn't, I won't. But it is very important that you know Python. If you don't know Python, it will be hard. Anyways, guys, have a good day and night, and I'll be going. Tata, bye bye. See you guys.